Imagine a world where the mightiest rulers are brought to their knees not by armies, but by their own pride. This is the story of King Arlen, a man who thought he had it all figured out, until a humble mason showed him what true leadership really means. In the prosperous kingdom of Ethoria, King Arlan sat upon his golden throne, admiring the grandeur of his castle. He was known far and wide for his impressive conquests and the magnificent structures he'd commissioned. But beneath the surface, trouble was brewing. "Your Majesty," a nervous advisor approached, "the people are restless. They say the new taxes are too high, and the constant construction is disrupting their lives." King Arlen scoffed. "They should be grateful. Every brick laid is a testament to our greatness. They'll thank me when we're the envy of all neighboring kingdoms." Little did King Arlen know his words would soon come back to haunt him. For in the heart of the city, an old mason named Thad was about to change everything. Thad had spent his life building the very monuments King Arlen prided himself on. His calloused hands and weathered face told the story of decades of hard work. One day, as he inspected the foundation of the king's latest project, a grand tower reaching towards the sky, he noticed something alarming. "This won't do," Thad muttered, shaking his head. "The foundation is weak. If we continue building, the whole thing will come crashing down." Thad knew he had to warn the king, but getting an audience wasn't easy for a common mason. Days turned into weeks as Thad tried to get his message heard. Meanwhile, construction continued, and the tower grew taller and more precarious with each passing day. Finally, on the day of the tower's unveiling, Thad managed to push his way through the crowd. "Your Majesty," he called out, his voice barely audible above the cheering masses. "The tower is in danger of collapse." King Arlen, annoyed by the interruption, glared at the old mason. "How dare you spoil this moment? Guards, remove this fool!" But as the guards moved to seize Thad, a low rumble began to shake the ground. Cracks appeared in the tower's base, spreading rapidly upwards. The crowd's cheers turned to screams of terror. In that moment, King Arlen froze, his face a mask of shock and disbelief. But Thad sprang into action. "Everyone, move back!" he shouted, his voice carrying an authority that even the king couldn't match. "Quickly, to the square!" As people scrambled to safety, Thad rushed towards the tower. With lightning speed, he began directing workers, pointing out weak spots and orchestrating emergency supports. His decades of experience came into play as he worked tirelessly to prevent a catastrophe. Hours passed, and finally the danger subsided. The tower stood, battered but intact, saved by the quick thinking and expertise of one old mason. In the aftermath, King Arlen approached Thad, his regal demeanor replaced by genuine humility. I don't know what to say," the king stammered. "You saved countless lives today. How can I ever repay you?" Thad looked at the king, his eyes filled with wisdom. "Your Majesty, the greatest repayment would be to listen, not just to me, but to all your people. True strength isn't in the height of our towers, but in the foundation of our community." Those words struck King Arlen like a thunderbolt. For the first time, he saw beyond the grandeur of his achievements and recognized the true source of his kingdom's strength: its people. In the days that followed, King Arlen underwent a remarkable transformation. He began holding open forums, listening to the concerns of citizens from all walks of life. He rolled back the burdensome taxes and redirected resources to improve the lives of ordinary people. The king's newfound humility didn't go unnoticed. People who once grumbled about his rule now spoke of him with respect and affection. The kingdom flourished not through grand monuments, but through the collective efforts of a united populace. As for Thad, the old mason found himself appointed as the king's chief advisor on civic projects. His practical wisdom and deep understanding of the common folk proved invaluable in shaping a better future for Ethoria. Years later, when visitors would ask about the slightly crooked tower in the city center, King Arlen would smile and say, "That tower is the most precious monument in our kingdom. It stands as a reminder that true leadership comes not from looking down upon others, but from standing alongside them." The story of King Arlan and Old Mason Thad spread far and wide, inspiring leaders across the land. It taught a timeless lesson, that the mightiest rulers are not those who build the tallest towers, but those who build the strongest communities. In our own lives, we too face choices between pride and humility, between imposing our will and listening to others. The tale of the humble king reminds us that real power lies not in domination, but in collaboration and mutual respect. So the next time you find yourself in a position of authority, whether it's leading a team at work, captaining a sports team, or even managing your household, remember the lesson of King Arlen. Listen to the Thads in your life, those whose experience and perspective might just save you from disaster. In the end, the most enduring legacies are built not on the backs of others, but shoulder to shoulder with them. It's a lesson as old as time, yet one we must constantly relearn. For in the dance between pride and humility, it's often the most unassuming partners who lead us to greatness. As we close this tale, ask yourself, how can you bring a little more humility into your own leadership style? The answer might just be the key to unlocking your true potential as a leader, friend, and fellow human being. Remember, every great journey begins with a single step, and sometimes that step is simply bending down to listen to those around us. So go forth, be humble, and who knows, you might just change the world, one act of kindness at a time. Please like, share, and subscribe